It's time. It's time to do some maintenance on the 150. It's Saturday, which means I've got to do a little bit of maintenance on this 150-gallon shrimpscape with 2 guppies in it. Of course, I got a bunch of snails and some other stuff in there. But we've got plants for days that need some trimming. Pogastem stellatus octopus, out of control again. Styrogine repens, out of control. All the crypts and everything in there, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. But we got to do some trimming, we got to get some stuff done, and I wanted to highlight a couple of things on this tank. Got quite a few things going in it that make it pretty simple. I've got a big giant sump on this tank. Really helps out with changing filter material, stuff like that. I've got the CO2 running into the sump. All the equipment's down in the sump, so I don't have to look at it ever, and it's not ever really in my way. It's a big benefit. Got a really nice substrate in here. I got a bunch of rocks and things I got from Aquarium Co-op, along with some of the plants I got from Aquarium Co-op in here. Coming along pretty well. I've only got 2 fish in there. Hopefully they breed into more. Who knows if that'll ever happen. I don't know if the male is old enough yet to be breeding. I think he's trying, but we'll see. Dosing fertilizer in here, a couple other things, but it's a really simple tank. I don't really have to do water changes on this tank per se, because my dehumidifier actually runs into this tank. It gives me about 5 gallons a day, something like that, of water just from the dehumidifier. I just run it right into this tank. Works out pretty well, and I don't really have a lot of complaints from it. And you know, it is kind of demineralizing my water, but that's not a big deal. I add some Wonder Shell every once in a while, catappa leaves, a couple other things into the sump, and I don't have to really deal with the aesthetic side of adding that stuff in. Running the flue ball lights on here. They run on their own built-in timers and stuff, so I don't really have to complain about that very much. I've also got a flue ball light on the sump growing the plants down there. That one actually is on a timer. It's an old 2.0. Finding uses for those, you know, when we get the older lights, they're not garbage. I'm still going to use them for stuff. That's the main way that I'm using those lights nowadays. Plant growth in here, I wouldn't say is outrageously robust, but I do need to trim a lot in here to keep it looking pretty nice. The Alternanthera renekii, which we did a video on that just a little while ago, is grown back up to the top again, so I'm going to have to trim that back today and get a couple other things sorted out. But the main thing is the Pogostemen. If you're looking for a beginner plant, get this Pogostemen octopus. This is an awesome beginner plant for anybody out there that's looking for something that wants to get into planted tanks. It's something you want to try out, see if you can grow something. That is one I would definitely recommend. A lot of the plants in here aren't necessarily beginner plants, but the Cryptwendetii, that is another beginner plant too that I think would go quite well in somebody who's starting out in the planted hobby, and experienced people too, because they're a beautiful plant, and I would say the better you are at caring for them, the more attractive they get. They get all these little ruffles in there and stuff, and a really cool coloration. So it's a cool plant, even if you are advanced, you know, you're like later on longer in the tooth and kind of know what you're doing. They do get cooler by that extension. Other than that, most everything in here is, you know, some of the stuff in here is classified as like difficult plants. That's not really the big deal. The difficult side of them is mainly propagation and stuff like that, which, you know, making plant babies. But it's a lot of fun. It's a really fun tank because I, you know, keep it low stock from you know, critters. Like, I don't have too many fish in here. I don't have too many things to take care of. Feeding is really easy. shrimp foods that I actually add are Dennerle's Shrimp King Complete, Dennerle's Shrimp King the gummy type, which is pretty cool, and also another shrimp food that I'll do a video on later. I had to get that one specifically from Germany when I was there, and I don't necessarily like know if anybody can get it, so I'm gonna have to find out if anybody can actually get it or not, and because I don't really want to be like, you should get this food, and then people are like, I can't get this food, it's not available anywhere, you know. So but that's what's going on today. So let's get the trimming done and feed the chickens and stuff. We're gonna get that done too.